My father handed me a folder and said, "I used your college fund to pay your sister's mortgage. You'll thank me for it one day." I just smiled and replied, "If you say so." 40 minutes later, his phone rang and his face froze when the bank informed him the transfer had been reversed. Minutes after that, a car's headlights lit up the front of the house. "I'm Nicholas, I'm 30 years old, and I work as a welder. It's not glamorous. I come home with sparks on my clothes, smelling of burnt metal and exhausted, but it's honest work. I make $55,000 a year, plus overtime. I grew up as the useful son, the one who fixed things, the one who helped, the one who never caused trouble. My sister Victoria, 4 years younger, was the favorite. She always was. When Victoria wanted something, she got it. New clothes, trips, parties. My parents, Antonio and Carmen, would bend over backwards to please her. When I wanted something, they told me to work for it. At 16, I got my first job. I saved every penny. Victoria never worked. My parents said she was too sensitive. When I graduated from high school, they told me there was a college fund for me. My grandfather had set it up when I was born. $50,000. Specifically designated for my education. I decided not to go to a traditional university. I went to a trade school instead. I learned welding. The fund remained untouched. Victoria went to college for 4 years. My parents paid for everything. When she graduated, she got a job that paid $35,000 a year. A year later, Victoria bought a house. My parents helped her with the down payment, $40,000. I was living in a rented apartment, paying $900 a month. I never asked for help. 2 weeks ago, my parents invited me over for dinner. We have something important to discuss. I arrived on a Saturday. Victoria was there with her husband, Marco. Everyone had serious faces. "Nicholas, sit down," my father said. He was holding a manila folder. "Victoria is having trouble with her mortgage. Marco lost his job. They've been struggling to make the payments. I'm sorry to hear that. The bank is threatening to foreclose." My father handed me the folder. "We used your college fund to pay Victoria's mortgage. $38,500. I opened the folder. Previous balance, $52,300. Current balance, $1,800. You used my fund?" "Yes. We couldn't let your sister lose her house." "Did you consult me?" "There was no time." "Did you know that fund is designated only for education?" "Technically, yes, but you're not using it. It's been 12 years. What if I wanted to?" "An underwater welding certification costs $1,000. I was going to use that fund." "It's too late, the money has already been transferred." Victoria spoke up. "Nicholas, please understand. I was going to lose my house. And that's my problem. How? I'm your brother, and that was my fund, my money that my grandfather left for me." My mother intervened. "Don't be selfish. Family helps family. You'll understand one day. You'll thank me for it one day," my father added. I looked at all of them and smiled. "If you say so." "Is that all you're going to say?" "For now, yes." I stood up and took the folder. "Can I keep this?" "Sure. Thanks. See you later." I walked out, drove home, sat at my table, and reviewed every document. I saw something interesting. The fund was in my name as the sole beneficiary. Any withdrawal required my signature, my authorization. My parents had no authorization. They had made the transfer fraudulently. I pulled out my phone and looked up the bank's number. It was 6 p.m. on a Saturday, but banks have 24/7 fraud hotlines. I dialed. "I need to report an unauthorized transaction on my account." I gave them all the information. I explained the $38,500 transfer. I did not authorize that transfer. I see the transfer, sir. Do you have any idea who might have made it? Yes, my father, but he has no authorization to move funds. This qualifies as unauthorized use. I am going to initiate an emergency reversal. How long does that take? 24 to 48 hours, but I can start it now as an emergency. Do it. Anything else? Yes, I want to change all the contact information. Only my information. We can do that on Monday when you come into the branch. I hung up. It was 6:20 p.m. I calculated the reversal would process in 30 to 40 minutes. I made myself some coffee, sat down, and waited. At 7:05 p.m., my phone rang. It was my father. I didn't answer. He called 5 times. Then my mother. Victoria. Marco. I didn't answer any of them. My father sent me a text. Nicholas, call me now. It's urgent. I didn't reply. Another message. The bank just reversed the transfer. What did you do? I replied. I reported an unauthorized transaction. Because I didn't authorize it. That was for your sister. That was my fund. For my education, not for Victoria's mortgage. Are you going to make her lose her house? No, you are going to make her lose her house by stealing my money. I blocked his number and everyone else's. At 7:30 p.m., I saw car headlights. It was my father. They all got out. They came up and banged on the door. Loudly. Nicholas, open the door. I didn't move. They knocked for 10 minutes. Then they left. I received an email from the bank. Your reversal has been successfully processed. $38,500 has been recredited to your account. I smiled. It had worked perfectly. I slept well that night. I knew this was just the beginning, but I also knew something else. I had done the right thing. That money was mine, for my future, and no one had the right to take it without my permission. On Monday morning, I went to the bank. I arrived when they opened at 9 a.m. I brought my ID, my birth certificate, and all the documents for the fund. The account manager, a woman named Patricia, met me in her office. She reviewed everything. Mr. Nicholas, I can confirm that you are the sole authorized beneficiary of this fund. Your father had no right to make that transfer. I know, that's why I reversed it. You did the right thing. Now, you want to change the contact information? Yes. Only my number, only my email. No one else should have access to information about this account. Patricia made the changes in the system. Done. Anything else? Yes. I want to withdraw $1,000. For what purpose? Underwater welding certification. It's an educational course. Perfect. That qualifies under the terms of the fund. She gave me a check for $1,000. The remaining balance was $37,300. Thank you, Patricia. You're welcome. And Mr. Nicholas, if your family tries anything else, call us immediately. I will. I left the bank with the check in my hand. I felt good, in control. That afternoon, while I was at work welding a beam, my boss called me into his office. Nicholas, you have a visitor. Who? Your sister. She says it's urgent. I sighed. Tell her I'm busy. I already did. She says she'll wait. I finished my shift at 5 p.m. When I walked out, Victoria was in the parking lot next to her car. She looked terrible. Puffy eyes, messy hair. Nicholas, please, we need to talk. There's nothing to talk about. I'm going to lose my house. The bank gave me until the end of the month. If I don't pay, they'll foreclose. That's not my problem. I'm your sister. And you're a 26-year-old adult with a husband. I am not responsible for your house. Mom and Dad were just trying to help me. With my money, without my permission. That's called theft. It's not theft. It's family. No, family respects boundaries. Family doesn't take what isn't theirs. You've always been selfish. Ever since you were a kid. No, I've always been ignored. There's a difference. Victoria started to cry. Please, Nicholas, I'm begging you. Lend me the money. I'll pay you back. With what? With your $35,000 a year salary, it would take you more than a year to pay me back. And we both know you never would. I swear. I'll sign a document. No. I've already made my decision. That money is for my education, not your mortgage. You're cruel. I'm realistic. Now I have to go. I got into my truck and drove away. In the rearview mirror, I saw Victoria crying in the parking lot. Part of me felt bad, but another part knew I had done the right thing. A week later, I received a certified letter. It was from a lawyer. My parents were suing me. The lawsuit alleged conversion of funds. They claimed the money in the fund was a family asset and that I had stolen funds meant to help my sister. I called a lawyer. His name was Fernando, a specialist in family disputes. Fernando, my parents are suing me for reversing an unauthorized transfer from my own fund. Do you have documentation proving you're the sole beneficiary? Yes, everything. Then they don't have a case. An educational fund with a designated beneficiary is not a family asset. It's yours. They committed fraud by accessing it without your authorization. What do I do? Respond to the lawsuit. I'll handle it. This will be quick. Fernando filed the response. It included all the bank documents, the confirmation that I was the sole beneficiary, and evidence that my parents made the transfer without my authorization. 2 weeks later, there was a preliminary hearing. My parents were there with their lawyer, a nervous guy who clearly knew he had no case. The judge reviewed the documents and looked at my parents. You transferred funds from an educational account without the beneficiary's authorization. My father tried to explain. His sister was going to lose her house. It was an emergency. That does not give you the right to access funds that are not yours. The lawsuit is dismissed. Mr. Nicholas, the fund is legally yours. Your parents have no claim to it. My parents' lawyer tried to object, but the judge cut him off. There is no legal basis. Case closed. We walked out of the courtroom. My parents looked at me with hatred. This isn't over, my father said. Yes, it is. The judge said so. The money is mine. You've destroyed this family. No, you destroyed it when you decided to steal from me. I walked away. I didn't look back. The following months were silent. No one called, no one wrote. It was as if I had ceased to exist for them, and honestly, I was okay with it. For the first time in years, I felt peace. 3 months after the hearing, I used the $1,000 to enroll in the underwater welding course. It was intense. 6 weeks of training in tanks, learning to weld under water pressure, with specialized equipment and strict safety protocols. The course was tough. 5 a.m. wake-up calls, 12-hour days between theory and practice, but I loved it. Every day I learned something new. Every challenge made me stronger. I graduated with full certification. The instructors said I was one of the best in my group. When I started looking for work again, the offers came in fast. My salary jumped from $55,000 to $85,000 a year. Some offshore jobs paid up to $120,000. I also started a side project, fabricating custom metal shelving units. I designed and built them in my spare time and sold them online. The demand was surprising. Restaurants, offices, homes. In 3 months, I earned extra money. My life was changing. Without the constant family drama, I could focus on building something of my own. One Saturday afternoon, while welding in my garage, my phone rang. Unknown number. Nicholas. It was Victoria. Her voice sounded different, calmer, more tired. Victoria. I know you don't want to talk to me, but I needed to call. Not to ask for anything, just to apologize. I stayed silent, waiting. We lost the house. The bank foreclosed 2 months ago. Marco and I moved into a small apartment. He got a new job. I took a second job. I'm sorry to hear that. Don't be. It was our fault. We bought a house we couldn't afford. We assumed there would always be someone to rescue us. And when there wasn't, we had to grow up. And your parents? Furious. With me, with you, with everyone. Mom barely speaks to me. Dad is bitter. They didn't lose anything. They chose to steal my money. I know. And I understand now. You were right. It wasn't your responsibility to save me. We're adults. We should have been more responsible. I'm glad you see that. Do you think one day we could be brother and sister again? Not like before, just normal siblings. Maybe. But it's going to be different. I'm not going to be your bank. I'm not going to sacrifice myself for you. I know, and I wouldn't ask you to. I just want you to know that I'm sorry, and I'm proud of you. Thanks. How are you? Good. I got my underwater welding certification. My salary increased. I started a shelving business. It's growing. I'm happy for you. Really, you deserve it. There was a comfortable silence. It wasn't like before, but it wasn't hostile either. We could get coffee sometime. No drama. Just siblings. Maybe. Give me time. I understand. Thanks for answering. She hung up. 2 weeks later, I was at the supermarket. In the frozen food aisle, I saw my parents. They looked older, tired. My father was pushing the cart slowly. My mother was checking a list with glasses on. They saw me. My father stopped. My mother lowered the list. We just stared at each other. Nicholas, my mother said. Mother. How are you? Fine. Silence. Could we talk sometime? She asked. What for? To fix this. To be a family. That depends. Are you going to respect my boundaries? Are you going to stop expecting me to solve Victoria's problems? My father spoke. What we did wasn't fair. I see that now. Taking your money without asking. Do you really see that? Yes. It was all wrong. And the expectation that I always rescue Victoria. My mother looked down. That was wrong too. We raised Victoria without teaching her responsibility, and we used you. I looked at both of them. Part of me wanted to hug them. Another part wanted to walk away. I'm not ready yet. But maybe one day. We understand, my mother said, her eyes welling up. I walked past them. I didn't look back, but I didn't feel anger either, just clarity. 6 months later, my shelving business was generating $2,000 a month. I hired an assistant. I rented a bigger space. Victoria and I had that coffee. It was awkward at first, but good. We talked about work, life, with no requests for money, no drama. Just siblings trying to reconnect. My relationship with my parents remained distant. Occasional texts, birthday wishes, nothing deep. And that was okay. A year after all the drama, I was in my workshop welding for a corporate client. A $1,000 contract. My business was growing. I thought about everything that had happened, about how I almost lost $38,500, about how I had to fight my own family to protect what was mine. But I also thought about what I gained. Independence, self-respect, a thriving business, peace of mind. I am not a walking emergency fund. I am not the useful son who fixes everything. I am Nicholas, a certified welder, an entrepreneur, a 31-year-old man building his life on his own terms. With calloused but steady hands, with clear but fair boundaries. With respect for myself first. Family is important, but you can't help others if you empty yourself. You can't be generous if you're being exploited. You can't love people who only see you as a resource. I learned that the hard way, with pain, with conflict, but I learned it. And now, in my workshop, surrounded by welding sparks, I can say something I couldn't before. I'm okay. I'm at peace. And I built it myself, on my own terms, with my own two hands.